Hi and welcome to this week's Woohoo Wednesday. I am Rachael Thompson Phillips, the creator of the BEYOU Oracle Cards and also of the Awakened Empath training that begins on March the 21st. So I want to be able to come in and give you more detail around the card choice that you've chosen. So you've chosen card number 2, which means that you have chosen the card of change. Now the message at the bottom says, positive change is occurring on a soul level. It is safe for you to emerge behind the mask. The mask is, as we know, the eyes are the window to the soul. Your soul is encouraging you and supporting you to move into a more softer, vulnerable place within your own self, more of the femininity. But your protective walls have been up for so long and they've operated from the masculine of force, push, shove, make shit happen type attitude. And you're at that point where you know and can recognize that that's no longer working for you anymore, but it feels so unfamiliar, so unlike you to share that softness within you, because somewhere in your mind there has been a limiting belief that believes softness is a weakness. Now this is where the conflict has been created. And just remember, just because something worked for you for a really long time and it no longer doesn't mean that it was wrong. It just means that there is a new version of you wanting to emerge. There's a part within you that's wishing that you had someone that you felt really safe and protected to be able to have deep conversations around what's going on for you. There's parts of yourself that are starting to show more vulnerability, more tears, more gentleness, more, I feel like at this point with this card, it's like you used to be able to cope with everything, and now all of a sudden everything is just like, I'm fucking sick and tired of taking care of everything for everyone. I want for someone to be there for me. I want to feel like the support that I give naturally to others is there for my own self. So this is where it's really important. If that's the energy that's coming through for you, be mindful to not move into a space of going, I've been there for everyone, why is no one there for me? It's really counterproductive. Nothing beneficial is going to come from that. Use that as your reference point. Be able to say to yourself, and this is where it's so important around reframing. Rather than being able to say, I was there for everyone and no, I feel like no one's there for me, reframe it and go, I would love to receive the support that I naturally give to others. It's about expressing the same content, but it's delivery and it's energy, and the requests that you're putting out there to your soul and self and universe is so very different. One's coming from pain and feeling like a victim, and the other one moves into a place of being able to go, this is actually what I want. Remember, we can call in what we don't want just as quickly as we can what we do want. So be mindful. Even if you need to be able to sit down and be able to write out all of that pain and that victim mindset, that's perfectly okay. What we want to be able to do is we want to be able to honor that, but you don't want to get submerged and sucked into the energy of that. Be able to have a look at it from a place of growth and expansion, and being able to go, this is where I feel the biggest frustration. Now, what is it that I actually want? And then you can write down it with so much clarity around what it is that you do want. Therefore, it makes it so much of a more powerful statement to your cosmic team, because you can actually state what it is that you do want. And the moment that you can recognize what it is that you do want, you can start attracting and calling that into your world. It's also that beautiful reminder of all those other things where you felt like the victim, where you felt overwhelm and anxiety and worry and doubts. It's the perfect time to surrender them upon the full moon on Friday the 18th. So as I said, use that one piece of paper. Keep the one piece where you've written all the things that you would feel like you would like to receive, but it's been written in a negative format. Keep that to be able to burn on Friday. On the other side of that sheet of paper, you've got ways and statements to be able to call out to the universe, to be able to say, hey, this is how I'm this is how I would like to receive support. And therefore you're being able to pull that mask down, because one part you've been able to honor with your anger and frustration, and the other you've been able to, which is in your head. The other is about being able to drop into your heart and being able to connect more deeply with your soul and source, to be able to start working on building new belief patterns and new attitudes and new energy vibrations, because it's so easy to just spiral around and around and around, almost like being in a washing machine, around feeling that the scale of balance is out. It's always you giving and not having people in your world that's receptive. Well, that's again something has to be able to consider. How do you stop those patterns? All of this begins with you, and that's so very important to remember, that we own a responsibility in both of those lists written on the piece of paper. People can't treat you poorly unless you give them permission. The same as people can't come in and support you unless you also give them permission. When you've been so strong for a long time, as much as you could be calling out saying, I really request some support at this time, I would love to have someone to be here for me. Sometimes when people come and do that for you, you're so quick to rebuff it and recant it and be able to push that away. Remember, you've also got to be able to work on surrendering and releasing, but also working on the new attitudes and behaviors of allowing yourself to be in that femininity, of allowing that flow of support to be able to come forward for you. So for me, I feel like, and what I can see is a plant with new growth on it, tiny little leaves on it. And that's where you're at. You're in that new growth phase, which feels clunky, it feels awkward, it feels unnatural, and it can cause frustrations. But the energy vibration is movement towards your desires and moving further away from what no longer resonates with you. So be okay in the clunkiness. Be okay feeling uncomfortable and icky in a way sometimes. This is the growth part, and it's not a matter, you can't go around it and you can't go over it. You have to be able to go through that. And again, that can be another request that you put out to Soul and Source to be able to support you through that journey of the new growth process. So I wish you an incredibly amazing week ahead. If you would love to be able to join the Awakened Empath program beginning on March the 21st, learning some really cool, powerful tools around being able to see and recognize that being an empath is a superpower when you can learn to master your energy. Each week I'm going to share with you some very cool tools, and the reason I do it week by week is so that you've got a week to be able to integrate the learning, not just like smash you with like one learning after another. You don't have time to be able to integrate it into knowledge. And that's where it's important. I don't want you to be able to just learn the training from a thought field. I want you to be able to know and put into practice each one of these powerful tools that I'm going to be sharing throughout this process. So I mentioned that begins on March the 21st. If that's something that's ticking all the boxes for you, then find the link below, and I can't wait to see you in the training. So much love. Take care, and I'll see you again next week. See ya.